Welcome to our new video and our new unit, which will be about percentages, a topic that you already know. And here we will see lots of subtopics. The first one is going to be the review of percentages. And here we're going to see something really interesting, because percentages are another way to see rational numbers. How so? How come? Okay, well, remember that a half it's also equal to 50%. That's very obvious. But at the same time, a half is equal to 0.5. So how can they be all equal? How can 50% be equal to 0.5, or a half equal to 50%? And how can we convert all of that? Well, there are 4 types of conversions. So there we have them: from decimal to percentage, from fraction to percentage, from percentage to decimal, and from percentage to fraction. And we will take a look at all of them. So let's start with the conversion from decimal to percentage. How can we do that? Okay, let's suppose that we have, for instance, 0.62, and we need to convert this amount into a percentage. The procedure is very easy. We just have to multiply that number by 100%. And remember that multiply by the unit followed by zeros is very simple. We just have to move the point as many times as the amount of zeros that we have. If we have here 2 zeros, we have to move the point 1 and 2 places. So it will be 62%. So it's very easy, as you can see. If you want to convert a decimal to a percentage, you just have to multiply by 100%, and that's it. Now, what if I have the other case? Let's suppose that I want to convert from fraction to percentage. Let's work with, let's suppose, a half. The same fraction that we had at the beginning of this lesson. Let's suppose that we have to convert a half to a percentage. We already know that a half is equal to 50%, but how can we do that? Okay, the most important thing that you have to do is ask to the denominator by what amount, multiplied by what amount will give you 100. In this case, 2 multiplied by 50 will give you 100. And remember, if we were going to multiply the denominator by a number, we had to multiply the numerator by the same number. So in order to get an equivalent fraction, so 1 times 50 is 50, and 2 times 50 is 100. So remember, the first step that you must perform is multiply to the denominator by what number, multiplied by what number will give you 50. In this case, 2 multiplied by 50. You have to multiply the denominator by a number in order to get 100, not 50. So in this case, 2 multiplied by 50 will give you 100. And do the same with the numerator. 1 times 50, 50, and 2 times 50, 100. And here is something really interesting you must know. Every fraction with 100 as a denominator is actually a percentage. Keep in mind that it's very important. Every fraction with 100 as a denominator is, in fact, a percentage. So there we have it. A half is equal to 50%. But it also can happen that you will find fractions like this one, for instance, 1/7. And there are no integer numbers that multiply by 7 will give you 100, because if we multiply, for instance, let's suppose 7 by 15, it will give you 105. If you multiply 7 by 14, it will give you 98. None of those results are 100. So what can you do in those cases where the denominator will never give you 100? That can happen. So what you have to do in those cases is multiply the fraction by this fraction, 100 first percent. And now we have the multiplication of two fractions. 1 times 100, it's 100. And 7 times 1, it's 7. 107%. There we have solved the problem, but let's face it, let's be honest, we will never see a percentage like this in real life. So what can we do here? Well, we had to convert that fraction into a decimal. How? Well, dividing. We will divide 100 by 7, and I will take the 10, and 1 times 10 is, 1 times 7 is 7, to the 10 is 3. I load the 30, and 4 times 7 is 28, to the 30 is 2. I ran out of integers, so I'm going to place a point here and a 0 there. And 2 times 7 is 14, to the 20 is 60. I will place another 0 here, and 7 times 8 is 56, to the 60 is 40. And in this division we will find a periodic number, a repeated number, but not yet, so we'll keep it with 2 decimals. That's the same that you can do. Keep it with 2 decimals, and this kind of percentages is more common to see in a store, in a cell, than a percentage in a fractional way. So there we have it. A seventh is equal to 14.28%. The method of multiply by this fraction 100%, it's valid for every fraction. So if you want to do it with fractions like this one, you can also do it. Okay, so there we have it. If you need to convert a fraction to a percentage, just multiply by 100%, or if you can, multiply to the ask to the denominator by what number multiplied will give 100. If it's possible, do it. If not, well, then multiply by 101%. Okay, there are other cases as well. Let's see what will happen, or what do we have to do if we need to convert from percentage to a decimal. Okay, let's suppose that we have the number 37%. How can we convert this percentage into a fraction? Well, the answer is very simple. We will place the same 37 without a percentage symbol, and that will be our numerator. Our new denominator will be 100. That's it. It's very simple. Easy peasy. A piece of cake. If you need to convert a fraction to a percentage, just place a 100 above the number, and well, forget about a percentage. Okay, it's very easy. Finally, and there is one last case. What do we have to do if we have to convert from percentage to fraction? Oh, sorry, no, we were talking about the case of percentage to decimal. Okay, we haven't finished. Alright, if we need to convert from percentage to decimals, first of all, place the 100 above the 37. And remember, every fraction it's also a division, and a division by the unit followed by zeros is very simple. You just have to move the point as many places as the amount of zeros that you have. Since we have 2 zeros, we will have to move the point 1 and 2 places. The answer will be 0.37, and there we have it. 37% is the same or is equal to 0.37. That's it. It's very simple, and that's how we can convert a percentage to a decimal. And finally, how can we convert a percentage to a fraction? Well, actually, we already saw it a few minutes ago. What will happen if, for instance, we have a fraction like 72%? The only thing we have to do is place a 100 above the 72. We don't have to divide. We can simplify if we want to do it. It's the best because you will get smaller numbers. And 72 divided by 2 is 36. 100 divided by 2 is 50. And once again, you can divide by 2. 36 divided by 2 is 18. And 25 divided by 2 is 25. From here now, we can't simplify even more. So there we have it. 72% is equal to the fraction 18/25. So that's it. Those are all the kind of conversions that you can do with percentages. I hope you could get it, and I'll see you in the next video talking more things about percentages. So goodbye.